Okay, so I just want to really quickly explain retargeting a little bit better. So what's going to happen is you're going to end up having someone who ends up visiting your site, and your site, again, 90% of these visitors are just going to exit. They're not going to do anything. They won't sign up. If you go and deliver them right to an opt-in page, depending on what the traffic is, that may be a little bit less. You may only have about 50 or 60% of people that end up leaving. But most people, when they are generically just visiting your website, they land on your homepage. It's not specifically an opt-in page that's only directed at sign up for this reason or leave. 90% leave. That's just the statistics that we've seen over a few dozen million website hits and visits, and it's basically the same. When you're sending them to an opt-in page, that's a different story, but we're talking about usually organic or people who are, simply going and browsing. They found you through a lot of normal methods. It may be social media posts, it may be a video on YouTube, it may be something that you are naturally showing up for inside of Google, Yahoo, or Bing in their search engines. No matter what, 90% leave. So when they leave, what you want to end up doing is just placing kind of a little tracker on them. And what that tracker does is after they leave and they go to the millions and millions and millions of websites that are available, most of these websites, a large portion of them, are going to have different platforms where they are ad publishers. And ad publishing just simply means that they're going to get a little banner ad, usually like this or like this at the top, or it may be what's called a skyscraper. But one of these ads are going to be able to be displayed. And when you have retargeting interconnected with some of the retargeting companies that I'm going to introduce you to, then you are able to network with these, and they kind of broker that deal on your behalf and say, hey, number one, call this website A, website B, and website C. Website A has a lot to do with what, we're talking about. So it would be the perfect time to bring this up, especially if we're talking about weight loss, and this is a weight loss website. So we would say we want to advertise here. And B has to do with more of, something like make money online. That's not really our forte. So, we might want to say, let's not do websites like that. But this website C is all about weightlifting, and that kind of fits in the niche of weight loss. So we want to advertise on there. So you can actually pick and choose where your ads show up. So they're showing up at the right times to the right people, and they're not showing up in every website. So if someone visits website A, they get your ad. You can put on what's known as a cap, and you can say the cap is 24 hours, so only show them one ad every 24 hours. If they immediately go over to website C, your ad will not show up on there. So you're not like annoying your people and your visitors who see your ad. It's more of just like a, hey, once a day we're going to remind you with a banner ad. Would you like to visit our website? If so, click on it. If not, they're going to ignore it. And you're not wasting time and energy, nor kind of making someone a little angry or agitated that you're following them all around the internet and displaying your ads to them. Now, one bad idea behind this is Zappos. Zappos did this one time when they first started retargeting way back in 2010 or around that area, and they ended up having no caps. So it was literally wherever that you are, if you visited the Zappos website, we are going to show you a Zappos ad every time, 100 times a day, if you visit 100 websites that do banner advertising. So that's a bad thing to have. But when you have caps, again, you're just kind of coming into people's radar and saying, would you like to visit this website? We have something special for you. There's something you can get, maybe a freebie, maybe you could get your purchase at a discount, or we're just re-showing you that product for purchase because we know that you researched it, you enjoyed it, you looked at it a little bit, and that's how we got that cookie. So overall, that's really what the idea of retargeting is. Once you're there, again, your retargeting is going to direct them to, depending on where they visit sometimes. If they visited different pages, you can actually send them to different results depending on what they visited or what actions they've taken. For example, you could have them opt in, you could have them buy, or you could have them share, like it's social or something like that. So all of these different things and ideas are going to be things we're going to break down more and more, but retargeting overall is one of the best things that you can do in terms of getting new leads and customers. Why? Well, simply put, once someone visits a website, especially something like your website, they're probably not going to come back. Overall, when you have a really popular network, you have a lot of great clients and you offer good content, you're going to have about between 20 and 25% of those visitors return. However, most of the time when you're starting out, you're a new business, or you've been in it for less than 5 years basically, you don't really have a brand name, you don't really have a lot of people that are actively seeking you out. So you need to make sure that you're kind of squeezing the lemon for all the juice it's got. And that's really what you're going after, is trying to really make a really great advertising campaign that even if it doesn't work on the first go, it'll work on the second or the third or the fourth. And the beautiful thing is with advertising, if you pay $1 for one visit, your advertising budget to retarget them, if they end up clicking through, is often going to be somewhere around a quarter of what you spent originally. That's not always the case, but that's a good rule of thumb, is that you're willing to spend, if you're going for $1 a click, you're willing to spend about 25 to even 50 cents per click, anywhere from 25 to 50% of what you originally spent to get those people back. And I'm going to give you a quick statistic, is these are things that we used to call inside the auto industry as B-backs. And B-backs, the thing about it is, before this, there was no way to get B-backs to come back into your company. Particularly what I was dealing with at the time was auto dealerships, people that sell cars, both new and used. And these B-backs, when you brought someone in and they said, I got to think about it, I'm not going to make the decision today, then what ends up happening is basically, again, same statistics, 90% never come back. That's the simple, plain truth of it, and it sucked to know that. So basically, if you didn't make your sale right then and there, you probably weren't going to make it. B-backs, the nice thing about it though is that those 10% that did come back, 80% that came back would buy. So it was a huge, huge boost, so that if you were able to follow up with somebody, phone call, mailers, etc., you are always on people's minds and you were able to get them, they would buy, 80% of them. So that's a huge number. It's literally saying that for all the people that walk away and that you never are able to drive back to your website, they're just never going to come in of their own accord, their own free will. You need to remind them of different reasons of why they should be coming and working with you, buying your product, getting your service, etc. So B-backs are extremely powerful, and it's much more profitable to spend more money on B-backs than it is on brand new customers and leads that you have never seen you, or you may not even know are interested for sure. They may just click through based on purely curiosity. And then from there, they find out, well, that's just not, that's not fit for me. But out of all the people that end up visiting your website, the ones that then click through from your retargeting, a larger portion of those people end up buying or converting into a lead, etc. So this is why retargeting is so powerful. What it's really all about is kind of that idea of, once they hit your website, you place a tracker or a cookie on there, and I'll show you, we'll go through all of this, and it allows you to follow them around the internet, displaying your ads in a non-intrusive manner that eventually turns them into a B-back, which ends up, of course, having a higher profit range for you in terms of numbers. I'd rather have 100 B-backs rather than 100 brand new people who have never heard of me before, because those 100 people that are B-backs and have heard of me once, they're much more likely to convert, because there's numbers that I've talked about many times before, even inside of my course Email Mastery, which is about 1% of people convert on the first visit. The unique thing is that, out of all the people that will convert for you, basically you're getting up to the 95 percentile when you have 95% convert on 12 plus visits. So that means they have to see you a number of times. You got to get in their face, usually via email, a social media post, some retargeting. There's multiple things that you're going to use to get up to that number 12 area of where they've seen you at least a dozen times. And from there, people have felt like they have a relationship with you. They know enough to make that educated buying decision. So out of all the people that are going to convert, most of them start converting at that really 12 mark. I've seen you 12 times, once on Facebook, once on YouTube. I've seen 2 on YouTube. You've sent me 6 emails, and I've visited your website 3 times. So there we're basically at that 12 area mark, and now I'm ready to make that decision because I've learned enough about you in the sphere of things to be educated and feel like I'm making the right decision. So retargeting kind of adds to that pie and allows you to remarket to them, get them signed up, especially if they haven't joined your email list. Retargeting is the most powerful for people who you've paid to send them to an opt-in page. They have not signed up yet. If you remarket to them, when they sign up again, they are so much more powerful. They're much more valuable than the people who signed up the first time because you're getting those numbers. You're counting them up, 1, 2, 3, 4 times you've seen me. The more that they see you, the more likely they are to convert and buy.